Well done, we've started our first project. Now let's have a look around the Bolt interface. Please note this was filmed in February 2026, so by the time you're watching this, some features may have moved around a little, but largely they will keep the same name. So let's start off looking at the prompt input box. On the bottom left, you see we've got a plus button. Here we can do a variety of actions. Say we want to attach a file. It could be a CSV file to seed a database, or we have an image of a dashboard that we want to use as inspiration. We can open this in the agent and prompt the agent, please restyle the dashboard so that it looks more similar to the screenshot attached. While that's working, let's continue exploring. Notice we can also import a Figma frame. Similar to starting off a project, we can import a Figma frame at any point in time and bring that as inspiration into our project. Next is the prompt library. This is about 20 or so prompts which have been pre-written, as you can see on the right here, to help with a variety of different things, such as accessibility, SEO, usability, and there's some miscellaneous ones in here as well. For example, we can click dark mode implementation and it adds a suggested prompt to make that fix. Notice by typing / we can quickly bring up the prompt library and even create our own custom prompts to save in here. As mentioned before, enhanced prompt basically takes our unstructured prompt and structures it in a way that our agent can best understand. Finally, we have our help center, which you're able to open from here as well. The prompt just completed, and now you can see our dashboard has been restyled to look more similar to the screenshot that we provided. Next up is the model selector. Now, by default, when you start a Bolt project, it uses the Claude agent. This is our most performant model. However, we are bringing more in soon. If you want to change this, go into settings and change the project agent here. Let's stick with the Claude agent. Notice that we've got 3 models to choose from. Haiku being the fastest, most lightweight. Sonnet is a very capable all-round model. And Opus, the largest, most compute-heavy with enhanced reasoning. When doing a simple task to save on tokens, we can swap to Haiku. For example, please round the corners of the components in the dashboard a little bit more. It's a very simple task and we'll designate this to Haiku. There we go. Haiku has been able to successfully round the corners of each component even more. Now, say we're implementing a really complicated feature like multi-tenant authentication with administrators and members. For something like this, it's best to use the Opus model. And for your day-to-day tasks, Sonnet is usually the best and has great performance. Next is the Select tool. We can click this and select any element on our screen. For example, this date component. Clicking reveals the element itself and all of the parent elements. Now that it's selected, we can prompt to make a change specifically to that component. Please remove the background and the border. It's a simple task, so I'll change to Haiku. And using minimal token consumption, you can see it's implemented that change. Now, if you've been invited to a team, you're able to swap between your personal account and a team's account using this top left option here. This text here shows the auto-created project name, which is easy to rename. Clicking this dropdown also gives us the option to easily jump between recent projects, and we can go back into version history as well. This is a really powerful feature. When we click version history, it shows us all the versions. Every time you prompt a change, it creates a new version which will be saved here. To view a previous version of your project, click on it and click Restore. Otherwise, we can exit the preview. As we incrementally add features along the way, it's really smart to bookmark the working versions, and we can rename these. So it's easy for us to remember these versions and come back to them later. We can also duplicate our project. Now, this will duplicate all of the front-end code and our database migrations. So it'll set up an identical database. However, it won't carry over any of your data or your secrets or your server functions. We can also export our project, change the visibility of it, save it as a team template, or delete it. As mentioned before, this is where we can toggle between a preview of the app and also all of the code. Some of the benefits of checking out the code directly is your ability to search. For example, if we want to change some copy, let's say this SAS tracker, we can search this directly in the code, find where it is, and make a direct change that doesn't use any of our tokens. Make sure to save this, and then we can see the change. We can also view our Supabase folder. Supabase is our database provider, and every time we tell the database to make a change, it is done by executing these migration files. The beauty of this is it keeps a track record of all the changes that have been made to your database. We can sequentially run each of these migration files on a new database, and it will have the exact same database schema as what you've created here. For the more advanced users, we also have terminal access, and you can use this to install packages, for example. Let's switch back to the preview mode and explore some more settings. We can go to all project settings by clicking the cog and selecting all project settings here. Notice this opens all of our project settings. We can see database, authentication, server functions, etc. Now, as a shortcut to get to these, we can simply click on the database. Notice it opens all project settings with database selected, or if we want quick access to any of these, for example, server functions, we can click here and it'll open the selected tab in all of our project settings. Now, there's a lot to cover in all the project settings, so we'll get back to that in a sec. Let's continue looking at the Bolt UI. In this center pill, you'll notice that there's a slash. Here, you can quickly and easily navigate between different pages. This can often be useful if they're not easy to navigate to in your UI. We can also refresh the page, preview it in a new tab, change to responsive mode. This is great for testing on mobile devices. For example, let's change the iPhone 16 and see how someone would view it from that device. To exit, we just click this button again. And then finally, we can view the app in full screen mode. And click again to exit. We're almost there. Here we can see the ability to connect your project to GitHub. Clicking on this opens a modal where you're able to connect your own GitHub account. You can back up your entire code base to GitHub. So if anything ever happens to it, you can use version history to restore it. Also share it with others. I'll choose my GitHub account, give the repository a name, and create the repo. Just like that, the project's been successfully created as a new repo within GitHub. Now we can view the GitHub status and we can create new branches directly in here. The agent has moved us over to this new branch, and if we wish to switch back, we simply click on Switch to Main. We also have the Share and the Publish button. Now, what's the difference? Well, the Share works really well if you don't want to completely share your project with the world just yet. Perhaps there's a specific audience that you want to privately share it with. This is where we can click Share, change our site visibility to say private, and it will create us a private invitation link. Copy this and share it with your colleagues, or we can invite them via email. Once you're ready to share your project with the world, that's where you can hit Publish. Click the Publish button and either press Publish or Update here. If we wish to change the Bolt.host subdomain, click Edit Domain and we can give it a name that we choose. SaaS app, let's go with that. And as easily as that, with the click of a few buttons, our project has now been deployed to this subdomain of Bolt.host. When publishing, it's also good to be aware of the inbuilt security scan that we've implemented. The Bolt agent can pick up on vulnerabilities in the database, such as row-level security policy issues or insecure permissions. It's always worth clicking Review Security and asking Bolt to fix before you publish. A common one that you'll see is this leaked password protection disabled. This is the only error that the Bolt agent won't fix. To fix this manually, come into Authentication, open up Email, and toggle Prevent Leaked Passwords to on. Now when we run the security scan, notice it won't come up with any security issues.